Good day, everyone. James Hicks here from Hicks New Media. Welcome to another episode of the Digital Collective, where we talk all things enterprise technology. We talk with the leaders, we talk with the organizations, folks that are making positive movements and strides within that particular industry. My guest today is look, man, he's been on the show a number of times. He's got the keys to the front door, right? So he's been here before, and we always chop it up and have a great time. I expect us to do that again today. Ethan Summers, CEO at Fledging. They are a technology firm based out of Birmingham, Alabama. The goal of the entire company is an amazing goal. It's very simple. The goal of the company is to provide premium electronics to everyone. And they've got a handful of products. I got it. Look, I got a handful of them right here too, as well. So we're gonna talk about this quality gear that they've got, and let you ask questions. But I just want to chat Ethan up a little bit and talk about what it takes to survive as a technology startup today. So without further ado, let me bring on this guy right here. Ethan, how are you, brother?
Hey James, it's good to see you, man. I appreciate you having me on. How you doing?
I'm good, sir. I'm good. What is
Good.
it's Wednesday? It's another day, another opportunity for us to chop it up here. So, uh, I always like folks to tell their origin story. Yeah, I may give a quick monologue, but tell folks who probably haven't seen the session before and who may not be aware of who you are and what fledging is. If you can just give that, please, I'd appreciate it.
Yeah, of course. I tell people all the time I'm doing the thing I've wanted to for the last 12 years. When I was an undergrad, I heard someone say in a business school seminar that half of all jobs in the country come from startups and small businesses. And James, man, if light bulbs could materialize over heads, that was the moment. And for me, I've just been on a path ever since, doing all the back end operations, finance, inventory, everything that goes into making a business actually work. And that's what I do with Fledging. You nailed it with premium electronics for everyone. We think everything you own in this modern digital world should work really well, last a really long time, and be fairly priced. And so that's what we do, and that's what we make. I'm sure we'll talk about it more. Our latest and greatest is called the Spruce Charger. It's a 5-in-1 desktop charger, so you can throw away the power strip and 5 chargers on your desk and charge up your entire modern life just from the Spruce. That's us in a nutshell.
I love it, love it. And I can't personally demo the spruce right now because it's close. It's close to, well, it's upstairs on my bedroom by my bed. So it's charging up my iPad. It's charging up my phone and everything. So I keep it. I don't even keep it in the studio. I don't let anyone know where it's right up by my bed. So I can't do a physical demo of it right
Man,
now.
I need to get you another one out there. Then I'll get you one in
Pretty
the
much,
mail.
man. Right? I need to just have like just fledging gear lined up. Um, I'm just saying, you know somebody, you know somebody at the company. No,
I'll call around, see if I can find the CEO.
I love it. I love it. Hey, folks, welcome you in the. Oh my goodness, let me get these comments right. Good to see you, sir. Good to see you, Sammy Superstar, another brilliant content creator who will definitely take some interest in this conversation.
Oh man.
He's got more gear than I have, and he's a third my age. So this guy is his namesake, Sammy Superstar. So definitely check in with him. Man,
Yeah.
let's talk about where you are, right? Where Fledging is in terms of a company, in terms of an organization, in terms of what you're producing. You talked about the spruce being that go to product that you have today, but there's a number of other products and services that you offer, and talk a little bit about some of those ancillary things that folks, when they go to your website, that they see that they can actually acquire as well, and then we'll feed into spruce.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're in the middle of a true pivot in our business. We started with a solid state drive upgrade kit. That's a SSD upgrade kit for MacBooks. And it was a specialty thing. You can go in up to 8x your storage, fix your performance, all that for a fraction of the cost of a new MacBook. And at the time, what we did was really novel. No one was offering a DIY kit. A bunch of people rushed into that market. We still support that product. It's called Feather SSD. If you got an older MacBook that's slowing down or filling up, we got the product for you. You're going to be in great shape. Come find us. So we kind of spun out from there, though. Apple started soldering the SSDs in, so we said, "Cool, let's make a high performance, high capacity external SSD," and that's what our Shell series is. So think about a big external hard drive or a thumb drive, except it's fast and it's big. Up to 4 terabytes, up to true Thunderbolt 3 speeds. Talk about read write in terabytes of data
Yeah.
in under an hour. So that's a lot of fun for us. The Shell series, we still work with it and support it. And then we got a kind of a pocket product called Hubble for iPad. You take that USB-C series iPad and you put it in this beautiful brushed aluminum case that looks and feels like your iPad while protecting it. And it adds back all those ports that you miss on a laptop: HDMI, USB-A, USB-C, headphone jack, all that stuff that we need for daily
Old
life.
school headphone jack. Go ahead, brother. We
Oh,
appreciate you for
wild,
that.
Yeah, wild, plug in some nice headphones. And you see it there on the screen. Essentially, it turns your iPad into really a laptop, which for a lot of people, that's how they use their iPad these days, is instead of toting around a laptop, just bust out the tablet and do the work you need. And so every product we make, and we'll talk about Spruce in a minute, every product we make, we're trying to make your life way easier, way better, product you can keep for 5, 10 years at a time, and that's fairly priced.
Yeah, listen, so I've got the Hubble,
Mhm,
but I no longer have the large iPad. I have an iPad Mini.
mhm.
So it's sitting here looking pretty. But I probably will get another one of that size that fits the dimensions for my son. Hopefully he's not listening right now. I don't want him to know that he may get a high school graduation present of a new iPad. But but you're right, man. What that did or does is provide all of those additional ports, right? That no one has, and instead of walking around with a whole bunch of dongles, a whole bunch of
That's right.
other cords, it just is convenient. And the fact you're right, there's an aesthetic to it as well, right? It's in the same uh, was it brushed aluminum? It looks great
Yeah.
too, right?
Well, yeah, like
We
you buy
spent all
those
this money
1,200.
for this iPad already, right? Let's at least, if we're going to have something attached to it, some type of peripheral, we want it to protect it and we want it to look good as well. Or maybe that's just me being selfish. I don't
Yeah,
know.
you don't wanna hide your $1,200 work of art behind a
Yeah,
$50 piece of plastic, all right? You wanna see it, feel it, and, everything we make, we just wanna make it. We want you to have that moment where you look back and say, "Why didn't they do it this way in the first
yeah,
place?"
I
That's
love it.
everything we're trying to make.
I love it. I love it. Listen, Christina is saying that you may know some answers about the startup business, the startup world. She says, ask him anything about the ecosystem. He has the answers. Make sure you send her payment in Venmo, PayPal, or however way you got to take care of that, right?
Spruce. I'll send her a spruce,
There you go. Well, look, you can't be sending too many spruces out, brother. Right? We got to sell the things, right?
You
I
telling
mean,
me,
yeah,
man.
we
You
can't just
telling
keep
me.
offering up as swag bag types of items. Talk about the spruce though. Again, I wish I had it downstairs with me right
Yeah,
now.
I
I
got
didn't
mine. I
want to
got mine
unplug it.
right here. Yeah,
Okay.
I got mine right here. Yeah, I got one with me all the time.
I'm sure you do, right? In your back pocket as you go around, in marketing the item.
I carry two in my backpack at all times just to hand out to people. I'm not even joking.
I love it.
But where it came from was our head of R&D. He was going home to hug his mom goodbye before he went to China to work for us, and this was March 2020. So he ends up in a basement for 3 months working off of one outlet. And James, when I say one outlet, I don't mean two ports. I mean one port. Imagine trying to run R&D for a tech startup. You got one place to get power. And so he said, I should have a device that I could plug in, and it doesn't matter what I'm doing that day, it's going to charge all my stuff. So then he lands over in Shenzhen, gets stuck in quarantine for 2 more months. So this is 5 months now. He's been locked down, working off whatever can fit in his bag, power strips here, chargers there. And so that's where Spruce comes from. So it is, at the end of the day, a desktop charger. This base will charge, you can see, 4 devices at once. And when I say 4 devices, I don't mean 4 smartphones. I don't mean 4 Apple Watches. I mean 2 MacBooks, an iPad, a monitor, and a phone. I mean, depending on the size of the MacBook, 3 MacBooks and an Apple Watch and a phone. We built something where just this charges everything.
So hold on, I'm going to interject because I want to make that clear. Because again, we've got folks jumping in, and I'm going to put your comment on the screen in a second, Mr. Worthy. Talk to us again about what those ports and the capability of that, because a lot of times we've got that misconception of it's only data, it's not everything that we need within our toolkit. Talk to us again about those ports that you have there.
That's right. So if you got a power strip on your desk, get rid of it. These ports, this whole base is 130 watts. 130 watts is a lot of watts.
That's it right there.
So right here, this front port, each of these 3 USB-C ports can do up to 100 watts. That's enough for almost any modern laptop. That's enough for every laptop Apple makes.
Yes.
This back port does up to 30 watts. That's enough for smaller laptops, for tablets, for phones, for battery packs, for baby monitors, for electric razors. I mean, soldering irons, any of those accessory devices. And then this wireless pad up here is 10 watts of wireless charging. So anything that natively wirelessly charges, and by that I mean you don't need a MagSafe adapter or something. It's just
Yeah.
got wireless built in, which is most iPhones. It's all the AirPod Pros. It's most Android phones. it's just going to sit on there and charge.
So you hear that, folks? You Android users, bless your hearts. And Ethan and I have a friend who's an Android user, and bless your
Mhm.
heart, brother. You can use this device as well. Doesn't matter what the ecosystem. And that's was that conscious, right again, because
Very much so.
most of what you have is kind of geared for the Apple ecosystem. But by having this kind of as that go to marquee
Mhm,
product and being able to utilize it cross platform, regardless of what you're using, Apple, iOS,
mhm.
uh, Android, things of that nature. I mean, that just opens the door to make it no excuse, right? You can
Exactly.
have an iPad, you can have a MacBook, and then you can have that Samsung phone, but you can still take advantage of the sprues, right?
That's exactly right. When we were doing customer discovery, and boy, did we do research on this, what we found is that the number one complaint was, why should I have to care what my tech is? Why should
Mm-hmm.
I care if it's Apple here and Android here and an Anchor? Who cares? I want to plug my stuff in and get power. And so that's what Spruce is built for. You get to plug your stuff in and get power. It doesn't matter what brand it is, it doesn't matter what model it is, it doesn't matter how you plug in or really how many devices you plug in. It's going to power your stuff.
Love it, love it. So this being the go-to product, let me maybe hit you and let's pull the scab off a little bit. Right, we talked about last time that we were on. We talked about the world stopping right for about 18 months and that type of thing. Go ahead and take a sip if you need to.
Yeah,
Come on.
hold on.
We'll take
Hold
a
on.
pause. Yeah. All right. So that's got to affect uh, technology startup even more dramatically than someone like an HPE, someone like a Dell
Mhm.
Technology, someone like whomever else. But so talk to us a little bit of how that affected Fledging, based out of Birmingham, Alabama, who has 4 or 5 really key products and sourcing components stand still.
Absolutely. There's really three ways it affected us, and at the end of the day, it forced us into what's called a lead strategy. And what that means in supply chain land is that you got to buy a bunch of stuff up front because you know it's going to be hard to buy later.
Mm,
That's hard for a startup. And so the first way it hit us is just cash. You know, we've all heard about the chip shortage. We had a standing buy order for a long time. If we found X number of chips, buy it, and we'll
okay.
figure out the cash and inventory later.
Okay.
You know, that's a tough proposition for a GE or a HP or something. That's brutal for a startup. Um, the chip shortage itself was a big deal. I mean, I think most people on here probably heard about it, but chips are just in. I mean, it was so bad at one point that Tesla was redesigning their cars to get around this. So we had to have that buy order. And then the third thing that really hit us was just the loading and approval times. So we were talking about supply chain before we got started. It wasn't that it took any longer to fly stuff over here. It's that stuff would get to a tarmac at an airport and sit there for 5,
Wow,
10, 15 days because they didn't have people to put it on the plane.
man, that's just
Um,
got to be frustrating.
and
Uh,
it's all it is. And it's all stuff where you can fix it one way, and that's throwing money at a problem. And money is not a startup strength.
right, right. So you're still standing, and so which is a phenomenal thing, right? I'm glad of that. I mean, I can only buy so many of them to keep the to keep the whole company going, but and telling up so many people. But what did you learn from again that trial period, and should
Mhm,
something like that ever hit the world again, knock on wood that it does not, but again,
mhm.
should there be some types of situations that affect supply, that affect production and things like that, give us, I guess, a best practice that you've implemented at Fledging to say that we will not be in that same type of situation again, or is there something that you could say, right? Is there something you can stand in front of the team and say,
Mhm.
we we were here, we're not going to get here again, regardless of what happens in the world.
That's
We
right.
put these things in place.
Yeah, I think there's two things that come to mind, and these are hard-won lessons. It's easy for me to just say it now, but it
Yeah,
took a while to get
hindsight
there.
is 2020, right, brother? Yeah.
Woo! Yeah, the first one's communication. You know, when stuff starts to go down, getting your team together and aligning on what matters most and calling your supplier and getting them aligned,
Mm,
it helps a lot. You know, at one point for 90 days, we were on 4 times a week, nightly stand-up calls with China,
wow.
dealing with the language barriers, dealing with the time changes, but that's just what it took
Mm,
to stay aligned. And you know, every time we got frustrated about having to be up that late having those conversations, we were reminded that investing in the communication is what got us there. The other is just invest in quality. You know, we fixed our chip shortage. by buying the nicest chip we could find, because everyone else in this shortage situation was going minimal cost, minimal cost. Let me find the cheapest thing I could find. We invested in something that cost us not a ton more per chip. And it was the difference not between a couple of dollars per unit or not, but the difference between spruce existing or spruce not existing.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. And it's not just that we spent more money, it's that when we invested in the chips, it added 10 watts per port with that investment. That's a bunch more power, James. Like, you know what's up? That's a lot more power.
That needs to be like at the top of the marketing marquee, right? I'm getting again. I keep focusing in on that. Yeah, everything else is cool, but just the fact that I can literally plug in any device that I got
Mhm.
and it'll
That's
power
right.
it. I can plug my
That's
my
right.
DSLR in, my mirrorless cameras, my laptops. Come on now, okay.
That's right. That's right. And on today's market, there's adapter cables for everything. You can get a USB-C to, I got one right now. It's a DC, the little barrel port, plugging on my second screen. Like, you can get an adapter for anything.
That's hilarious. That's good,
Yeah.
man. I mean, so I'm glad that has worked out. I'm not going to say it's completely working out because we're still in the midst of that's why we're drinking. And you have a question there about what we are partaking here. My man Steve Worthy is having some Hill Rock right now. What are you partaking in there, sir? In the cup,
Oh man, it's Lagavulin. Lagavulin 16 here.
16. My
Yeah,
goodness,
16. Yeah.
that's what CEOs drink, ladies and
It
gentlemen.
was, it was it was a birthday gift from my
Okay.
quality engineer, and I've been sipping on it since November.
You've been sipping on it since the pandemic, is what. I love it. Folks, listen, if you got any questions for Ethan, again, from a technology startup conversation perspective, from how he's bobbing and weaving and pivoting the organization if necessary to stay successful, to stay profitable, things of that, definitely put a Q in front of it and let's ask those questions. Let me ask you about distribution channels, right? So
Mhm,
and I'm not gonna say I know, but I don't. And I don't want to assume purchasing your devices, purchasing your equipment directly from Fledging.tech or through Amazon or through. I'm not sure if you're at Best Buy, B&H, things of that nature, but which is most effective for you? Because there's got to be a pro and a con. There's got to be a give and a take. I
yeah,
think, right? If you're trying to push everything through Amazon, I'm sure that there's some type of a contingency for that. Or would you
mhm,
prefer everyone to go Fledging.tech, make that order there? I kind of think I know
yeah.
what the answer is, but
Yeah, I mean, reality of the world we live in, Amazon's king. So if you're buying one, two, three units for you, your house, your kid, whatever, find us on Amazon. Just
mm,
search Spruce and Fledging, and that's just Amazon's king of the mountain. We need the volume, we need the reviews, so you can always find us there. We're in stock and prime, coast to coast. You can always get us on our website, and we're always going to make a little more money on the website because Amazon they take their piece of the pie.
yeah, that's what I was
But
heading at.
Amazon,
Yeah, I just
yeah,
wanted to hear someone in behind the scenes literally say that. So I wanted to hear you actually admit good stuff.
yeah, they're taking their piece of the pie, but they also get. I mean, I don't know if it is where you are. They get their 1 day Prime, and they get
Yes,
their guaranteed
yeah.
customer returns, and there's a lot of value to it. So, we like Amazon, we like our website, and a big thing we've been doing. I mentioned a pivot earlier, is we used to be mainly a D2C company, direct to consumer. We're becoming a B2B company, and that just means direct to business.
Hmm.
We're looking at shops and businesses and people with flex and remote teams and people who want to see their logo on this
Oh,
to show
nice.
that they've invested in a premium bit of hardware that's actually useful to their team as they live and work from anywhere environment that we're all in now. So we're really pushing on that, and we can customize it for just about anybody.
Just about anybody. Mr. Worthy,
Mhm.
he's talking to us. We both have so focused back here. You know, this is my go-to tag for the entire year. Stay focused on you. And I have a vendor that I utilize, partner that I use to create all of my merchandise with
Mhm.
logos and things like that. Imagine if I had a spruce that had the Hicks New Media logo on it. Come on, let's.
I mean,
Now I'm being selfish. Now I'm talking to you for me now. But let's
it would look clean. We got the black, the white, the gray. I got a good designer, man. It would look clean.
Okay, we'll talk about the minimum order quantities first, and then first because I'm sure I can't just buy like three. And
It's pretty reasonable. We built it in from day zero. We kind of knew, we learned that it was going to be real important. So it shows up like clockwork about every 6 weeks. And we typically tell people about 50 units. and we're going to come in, because it's a partnership at that point, we're going to come in at a price that's better than that $125 on Amazon.
I love it.
So it's, I'm not going to say it's cheap. That's still a bit of a PO, but it's certainly doable, and it's a nice gift to give
Yeah.
somebody.
Yeah. And to be honest with you, many of us don't want cheap, and I think again that's part of the reason why you're still doing what you're doing and not
That's right.
standing on the corner with a sign right now. Again, no offense to
Well,
anyone out there.
that's on Friday, but
Yeah, no offense to anyone out there. But again, you get a high quality piece of gear. You've got incredible QA that goes into it. Plug mine
That's
in,
right.
it worked. I haven't had any issues with it at all. With any of the items that I've got, my Feather is here attached to my Mac Mini right now, and that is where all of my sessions are recording to. I don't even record them to the internal drive, so everything that I'm recording right now goes to that Feather, and then I pull the audio and the video, turn that into the audio cast. I mean the audio podcast. So you are a integral piece of my workflow as I build out these shows and build out these
Man,
environments.
I love it. I love it.
So I can't pull that out and show that to anybody right now either, because it's literally working. Companies must love Spruce for their remote workforce. What a great branding gift. Christina Phantom is coming with some heat. I got a feeling that you is this a plant? Do you know? I know. She's dropping some gems here. Is she in the other room? Okay.
Christina, be quiet. She can hear you.
You know that because she's coming with some gems here, and that's all right. That's all right. Let me ask about this. Products can only have a certain amount of longevity, right? I mean, you can't. You can ride this one until the wheels falls off for sure, and it's, you're still at the beginning, I think, for Spruce,
That's
right? So there's still a lot that can come out of it, either in terms of color combinations, like you said. I don't think before you had the gray, right? So you had just the white, and then the black came out afterwards, if I'm not correct. But
That's right. That's right.
there is this question, and I was going to ask this as well. What's next, right? Again, we the consumer like what we've got, but we're greedy. And we're selfish. We want to know, okay, you got something great now, and I got it, but what are you working on next to kind of keep my attention? And without going into anything NDA, but I'm sure there's some things on the roadmap that you are working on, but just kind of at that 30,000 foot level, if you could just say, is it some drive? Is it an internal type of componentry, or what would Fledging be working on next?
I think it's all the stuff you'd expect. More ports, more power, and no cable. Number one thing we hear from people is that like a second USB-A port, and that's that little square port at the back.
Okay.
Just because we got a lot of everybody, we all have those ports all over the place. More power. Can we get this up to 200 watts, 250 watts, so that like it's truly just thoughtless power? Don't have to worry about it. And then, is it possible to maybe put a little battery in there, so that you can carry a little power around with you and not have to have a cable all the time? Yeah. Now that last one, that's tough.
Yeah.
But that's what we're looking at: more ports, more power, and no cable.
That's interesting. Okay. Pull yours back up again too, because I know the folks are looking, and you can use it actually tilted down, because I use mine not in the stand up position, and I use mine in that position. So folks, you've got options also in terms of just the display of the device as well. So you can have it kind of in that nightstand mode, or you can have it kind of in the flat lay down mode. And I use mine primarily like that. Cool.
That's right.
Yeah. You are active within the entrepreneurship. You're active within the technology community within Alabama. I saw today that you put out, or the company put out, a tweet about the Momentum Conference that's happening. The Momentum Conference is a large conference within that area, within the Alabama area, focused on women in entrepreneurship, women in business. Talk to me a little bit about why you're involved in that, because I believe you said you were actually physically at that conference today, putting in some time on the show floor and walking around doing things. Why is that conference important to Fledging and important to Ethan Summers?
Yeah, absolutely. So we were there all day today. Had me, my quality engineer, and my content marketer. We're going to be all there all day today, tomorrow too. And 2 days out of a full week, that's a big time commitment, but we just believe in it. Women in leadership, you wouldn't think in 2022 you would need to explain it, but we still do. You're leaving half the population aside. if you're not looking at these wonderful people who have just incredible experience, incredible perspective, who have done some of just the hardest things in life. You talk about maybe a mom who's raised some kids while running a career. You're never going to see someone with a better operational mind. And that's just one example. So it's just all about that inclusivity of, it's half the planet, and it's not just something that's nice to do. You're kind of foolish if you're not sitting there saying, hey, women should be in leadership. They've been in leadership for a long time, and you should be listening to them and learning everything you can. I'm really lucky. I got a team more than half full of women. I have a great head of marketing on my team who's a woman, and I got to say the growth in perspective and the growth in creative ways that I've never even thought about has just been a blessing. So you got to be taking a look.
Did I meet her at CES? Was she
I
there?
think you, I think you did. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
There was someone there, and she was like, she was running the show. I'm not. You were there, just to, I don't know, write checks and pay for dinner and all that. But she was the one running it.
That's why you hire a head of marketing,
You know
man,
what I'm
so they
saying?
can run the show.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you were there looking fancy, making sure that the booth was there, and again, like I say, signing checks and all. But yeah, we could tell that where the real work at Fledging happens is behind the scenes. But that's what I call that a testament to leadership. I call that to you putting the right people in place to do the right job at the right time at the right place. So shouts out, kudos to you, man. I'm not gonna mess with you too much, right? Because
No, you do what you got to do.
no, because I do. I want that black spruce, right?
We got a T-shirt too. It's got the exploded diagram.
I don't have that one. No, I don't have that one. I got the one with the bird with the like.
Oh, you're gonna like it. It's like a exploded 3D model of the spruce. You can see all the. Oh, you're gonna like it.
Oh my God, this tall boy listening. He might be listening to this, dude. You don't make him.
I think you got one. I think you got one,
dude. Okay. Yeah,
we'll get you one in the mail.
All right. Let me go ahead and lock back in. Let me go ahead and get focused again, right quick. Steve Worthy asking a question here. What about creating a dock that can be used as a companion to the Mac Mini or MacBook Pro? More ports, HDMI. I think that's a good adjacency for Fledging. See, we are Mac users through and through. Look, I've been drinking the Kool-Aid for a long time since I worked for the company, but that's again because you were talking about remote capability and being agile, being on the move, right? I just came back from this conference, like I say, in San Diego, and a handful of folks didn't necessarily bring just their MacBook Pro laptops. They bought their Mac Minis, their desktop, which again is a very, very portable device. So having that additional port connectivity would be nice, and we'd love to use some Fledging gear for that.
Definitely. I will say one challenge we're coping with Apple is that we like Apple, but Apple doesn't really like third-party data hardware. We've seen that some with Monterey and them kind of pushing out. Right now, if you're trying to use a third-party solid-state drive, they'll give a little error message that says not compatible. So Apple's getting to be where they're, especially as you get into data tools with them, not pass-throughs, but actual storage, they're getting to be they're pushing back.
Okay.
So we're definitely interested in stuff like that. He's right on the money with the adjacencies. I mean, spot on. But Apple's making it a little bit tougher to support the Apple ecosystem. So we're going to keep exploring it, but it's getting pretty tough out there.
That's and now that you say it, I almost see it, right? Because what they've done with their own silicon, right, coming out with their own chips, bringing all of that stuff internal in house, as opposed to even worrying about or utilizing Intel, using IBM, Motorola back in the day. I'm dating myself, but yeah, that kind of makes sense. And you think about the OWCs and the Lacey's and
that's right.
The other companies I can't think off the top of my head, but you don't see much of them anymore, right? in terms of the data storage pieces, right? You see a lot of other.
That's right.
Okay.
You see hubs, you see power, you see Sidetrack for the monitors. That's a great brand, Sidetrack. You see a lot of that stuff where like kind of interacting with the operating system's not as big a deal.
Right.
But anytime you start interacting with that operating system, Apple's getting to be a little more authority.
Okay. I wonder if it's a perceived security concern or what, or again, it's just Apple being Apple. And I don't know. I caught you out looking at like there. You have an opinion about that. How many more scotches or bourbons do we got to get to get that answer?
I'm trying to get Tim Cook to buy the company, so I might bite my tongue on that.
We'll talk about that offline. Mr. Worthy, I think there's space between Anchor and CalDigit. Okay, for
Mhm.
quality doc. Ethan, you can send me the prototype and I'll test it out. Here we go with the
Oh
hecklers,
man,
right? So I got to
man,
start blocking the hecklers from the comments so they can't get in. But I know, but that's an interesting point as well, right?
it
But
is.
but that so the anchors and the Cal digits again, they are doing kind of that peripheral just connectivity. They're not doing that data exchange, kind of like you were just
That's right.
mentioning. So that marketplace is still vibrant. I think as long as you continue to provide that high quality
That's right.
product, you're going to be fine, right?
Well, and it
And
and it sh it transcends Apple. Not I mean, Apple's
yeah,
great, but
yeah,
you start getting into it the way laptops and tablets are headed, a product like that's gonna be great in the modern mobile device space,
yeah.
and that's a place I think, as we continue finding success, we'll continue to stand out as, Anchor makes a solid product. I got no criticisms of them. We're trying to make the best version of our product. You can go get decent chargers, and they're good and they're fine. We want you to have something where you sit there and you're like, wow, this is a charger. I can't believe it's this good. And so if we were to step into that space, and this is something we're looking at, we're going to step into that space if we can make like the best dang version of it possible. That's what excites us, and that, frankly, it's the only way we stand out in an otherwise very very crowded marketplace.
That's a good point. And so let me ask one more kind of business focused question, and then we'll go into kind of a side topic. But by staying locked in on producing a quality piece of equipment, by staying
Mhm,
locked in on maintaining a price point that shows premium but isn't extravagant.
mhm,
I guess let me put it that way, right? As opposed to again us consumers wanting to be selfish, wanting you to continue to evolve and bring out something new every fiscal quarter, every year. What it
mhm,
could, right? You have to sit in that seat right there and say, no,
mhm.
let's pump the brakes and let's make Spruce the best thing out there that's going. So I almost want to retract what I said about riding this. There's still much more longevity in spruce than
Right.
even I thought at the beginning of this conversation, right? I mean, just again, continuing to evolve that, continuing to market
Mhm.
and talk about the quality, the benefit, the usability value, all of those great adjectives. There, right there, could be there, right there. There could be the marketing conversation and the longevity of that product in and of
Exactly.
itself. So okay,
And
so
that's
so
that's
again,
how we
yeah.
that's how we price all our stuff. Spruce ain't cheap. It's $125. You look at other chargers on the market, you're gonna get some sticker shock until you start first using them.
This man about to buy
Um,
one right here. Let me get what
Steve,
do I got
man,
affiliate
we,
code or something? No, no.
yeah, I'll get you a referral link. You start looking though at other chargers, and you start using them, and you start cobbling together what you need. You realize that the price point makes sense, but
Yeah.
we want you to be using Spruce in 5 or 10 years, so that you look back and you go, you know what, I paid $125 for that thing. 10 years later, it is sitting on my desk charging stuff, and that's why innovation for us matters so much. Just in the sense of like, if we're going to make a Spruce 2.0, it's not going to be a little better. It's going to be a hell of a lot better than Spruce. It's
Yeah.
going to be twice the wattage. It's going to have a battery on board. It's going to whatever you want it to do, because we don't want to sit there and milk a product line. We want it to be, I'm going to spend another $125 because dang, Spruce
Right.
2.0 is just that much better.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Were was the spruce available during holiday season?
It kind of.
I
It
think
touched.
it was just like peeking around the
Yeah.
corner, right?
That's
Okay.
right, that's right, that's right. It touched down on November 15th. We took a
Okay.
long delay on the chip shortage,
Okay.
but we are fully in stock today.
Man, I can just only imagine how. Look, I'm gonna speak it into existence for you. Now you're right. I'm a third person looking at. Man, this is gonna be a great holiday shopping season for Fledging and Spruce, and birthdays, anniversary. Get your significant other. Don't get them flowers. Don't buy any cars. Don't buy anything like that. Get him a Spruce Charger.
It's better than spruce,
Going
better
going to
than
use
roses. There we go.
that should be on a shirt right there. It's better with fruit. That should be on a shirt right there. Listen, I'm a
I gotta say, Father's Day is right around the corner, and
Worthy.
it's
Go ahead and get
exact.
your order in, Steve Worthy. And this guy right here, Mr. James Riley, he is also a huge content creator, also very mobile. right? So
Okay.
in
Okay.
terms of being on the go, he would take advantage of something like this as well, because he films a lot of athletics for his kids football teams and things of that nature. So being out there on the go, needing to charge up multiple devices, cameras, laptops, tablets, and things like that. So
That's
so
right.
Mr.
That's right.
Riley, check out the replay on this and see what Fledging is offering for sure, man. So look, I'm just trying to do my part. I'm trying to get you listed on some marketplace before, within 5 years at least. That's all I'm trying. 5 years.
That's the plan. That's the plan.
That probably is the plan, isn't it?
No, that's the
I
plan.
was
We
gonna
got
say that
plans
probably
for
is the
sure.
plan.
I tell you, that's one thing I've learned in this startup space is if you take this middle of the road approach and just kind of go along to get along, you're not getting anywhere. You
Wow.
gotta go for you gotta go for broke. That doesn't mean be reckless, but you gotta be playing to win because it's just too tough otherwise.
Yeah.
We make progress in this space by being sold out on one vision. We're going to make the best desktop charger, period. Anything short of that in the startup space is just not good enough.
That is an excellent, I think, segue into. I still want to ask this other question about
Sure,
sports
yeah.
because especially when Riley came in, I want to talk about that. But again, thinking of the mentality of someone again with specifically within the technology startup space, just
Mhm.
being able to know that it's going to be tough. Right. Know that it's a marathon. It's not a sprint. Knowing that you got to make some tough decisions in the middle of the night and when you really don't want to, those kinds of things. And you see a lot of folks. There's a lot of initiative. There's a lot of desire as he has to take a drink there because we about to. He just finished the glass right there. He's just finished. But again, talk to us about again that mindset of what it takes to be someone in a leadership position at a
Mhm.
organization who is going for broke, who has a larger vision as opposed to just what they're doing today. Instead of just one, two, three products, but being kind of either a lifestyle brand
Mhm.
or being more of something that is a household name, something that again, when I talk charging, when I talk uh, security and accessibility for my mobile devices, I think Fledging as opposed to someone else first. Talk to us about again your mentality of taking a company to that point of being able to rise above the noise, so to speak.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a great question. So, I mean, there's a clear answer that comes to mind for me. It's gonna sound funny because we're sitting there talking about swinging for the fences and
Mm-hmm.
going for broke and taking on billion-dollar brands. I am not in any way pretending that I have nailed this skill. So there's that disclaimer. The number one thing that I think has served this team is humility. Of all things, it's not marketing chops, it's not sales, it's not ops, it's not communication. It's humility. It's the humility to sit there and have that big vision and then say, okay, but where are we today and what needs to change to get there? And what I think anyone on my leadership team would tell you is that each of us has to be humble first and change first, and kind of be that change that we need to, provoke and inspire on our team. And I'll tell you, James, it'll wear you out. You go through some bottles of whiskey living like that because you're changing a lot and you're changing fast and you're changing well before anyone approves of it. And a lot of time you're changing in the face of what seems to be working. Um, but I think just that having that humility and that sense of, here's where we are and here's where we want to get to, and let's be real about what needs to happen. It's what serves me. It's what I value in all of my leadership team members is that humility they bring to it. I'm not sure if it's me or not. I can't hear you.
I'm always see whenever I go off camera, I take myself on mute, and I
Yeah.
just to make sure it's not like the vacuum cleaner going or something like that. But it was me. I know I'm gonna get heckled now again from a couple of people in the room. I was gonna say thank you for going down that road of conversation because I know that could be difficult. Right as again, I pull that band-aid off and talk about some things that are close to heart and close to what's happening on
Mhm.
a day-to-day basis because you are right kind of at the head of that mountain for the organization, right? Everyone is
Mhm.
kind of following your charge. And if we don't talk about that, if folks in your position don't talk about that,
Mhm.
then you end up going through mental issues. You end up going through, I mean, right? Then you're not healthy, right?
Yeah.
And then that doesn't look good from a leadership perspective
I mean,
if you're not taking care
I'll
of
tell you
yourself.
a story. That's what happened last summer. You know, we were getting ready to launch Spruce, and I kept it as a side project because I thought I'll just run this with my head of R&D, not being humble. And then we decided to do some fundraising so we could pivot our business model. And so I raised $500,000 while also trying to launch this product. And I'll tell you, James, if you never raise money, it's not, you don't get to do both.
Yeah.
You get to operate or you get to raise money. That's it. I tried to do both. I succeeded in raising the money. I failed in successfully managing the product launch. And then by the time I hired my head of marketing and closed the checks, I collapsed for 2 weeks. And I don't use that word like I literally collapsed.
Yeah.
And looking back, it was just dumb, man. It was not humble at all. I wasn't staying true to who I am. And if I had let my head of ops be involved and relied on him like I do for everything else, he's my right hand person. He has the exact skill set to fix the problem. Like, what
Yeah.
was wrong with me? But it's a perfect example of, like, the answer was right there. The only thing stopping me from that success was my ego getting in the way. And the answer was be humble and trust your team and just, you want to get here, here's what's needed to get there.
There you go. Ethan Summers coming to the show, folks, just dropping some knowledge on you, dropping some gems on you. Even though I'm on mute, he at least is not on mute, and he's talking to you. Maybe you should write a book. Haven't you?
I have. I got to tell you, if
Maybe
you're going to look
you
for it,
should write a book. Now, I know you've written one book, The Sin Eaters.
I have.
Look. Was that is that 4.5 stars right there? That's pretty cool. 4.5
What can I
stars on
say?
Amazon.
And
Kindle version and paperback.
none of those are my mom either. You know, those are those are
that's
legit.
that's folks from Fledging right there. Look, if you want no, if you want a good positive review at the end of the year, I'm just saying. Talk to us about this though. So again, I'm trying to bring the conversation back into some other terms as well.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
so I like what you said about that piece, and the reason I brought up about the book is because again, putting that down for others within your ecosystem and within your sphere of influence. Yeah, you wrote this book, The Sin Eaters, but have you ever thought about the technology startup world according to Ethan Summers, or just writing that out in terms of best practice, or doing some type of, or do you feel that you're still very early in this um, evolution? You're still very
Mhm.
early in these activities that maybe writing a tell-all manuscript is not the right time right now.
Yeah, I'll be honest, I've not thought about it, but as I sit here and think about it, I think for me, the thing I want to do is get all the way to recycle. You know, there's a lot of
Mm,
authenticity and legitimacy of whether that's get bought out, get valued at $100 million, or shut down, just get through a full cycle. But even if I was going to do that, the strength of entrepreneurship is community. I would, if I wrote that story, I'd have a chapter in that story. But there are so many entrepreneurs in this community, people like you, people like Tallboy, people like my head of operations and other startups in Birmingham who they'd each have a story. And so I think if you're going to do that, you got to go out and you got to ask all those stories and then put those stories together because, we have this kind of bootstrapping myth in entrepreneurship culture that I think is pretty toxic.
yeah.
We all get there with team members. We all get there with love and support and friends and family. And that's a good thing. That's something to celebrate, but those stories have to be told. So if you're going to tell that story, you got to tell a community story versus a one person's tell all perspective story.
I love it. I love it. Well, CM Williams is saying, he's waiting on the ad. So I'm not sure what that means, but maybe he's waiting for you to do something there. He's either waiting for the ad for the next book or waiting for the ad for you to actually tell that story. So CM Williams,
I'll tell you, sneak peek for you. It's the first time I've said it on a
come on now.
podcast. I just finished the manuscript for book 2.
Is that
So
right?
the Sin Eaters is getting a sequel sometime in the next 2 or 3 months.
All I want is I asked for a lot of things on this show, right? I didn't ask for like a black spruce. I've asked for the shirt. Oh, hold up, wait a minute. Look who's in the building. Shouts out to this guy right here.
Is that tall boy?
That's
Look at
tall
that.
boy. Ladies and gentlemen, Corey Sanders is in the building. So I'm talking about you now. We already talked about you a little earlier, right? So I want the black spruce, the shirt with the exploded diagram on it, and now we've got to get the signed copy of the Sin Eaters 2.
Hey, we'll get it out to you. I
No,
got a guy working on it.
well, you just got to write it
We'll,
first. That's the problem. You got to write.
no, it's written. It's written. It's getting reviewed by some friends right now. But I'll tell you what, man, I'm sure you do other stuff because you got a full-time job too.
Definitely.
When I was first writing the book, I wasn't Fledging. And then I came to Fledging and thought there's no way I can write a book. And now what I found is that I can maintain peace and sanity with my team by dumping all that excess energy into this book that's got nothing to do with them. And so having that outside thing to work on and just not drive your team nuts and just kind of let stuff, as my head of marketing says, you got to let it eat. You got to let it just kind of happen sometimes. It gives me a place to go put that other energy so I don't drive them too crazy.
I love it. I love that too. You got to let it eat a little bit, right? I've
Yeah,
said,
that's right.
you got to let it marinate a little bit, but I like that too.
There it is.
You got to let it eat. Okay, CM was talking about the ad playing on YouTube. Yeah, man, look, we got to get paid out here in these YouTube streets, man. So I'm sorry about the pre-roll. There's going to be one at the very end as well. But listen, if you upgrade to YouTube Premium, you don't have to worry about the ads. But that right there, a couple of nickels in the Hicks New Media pocket. So appreciate you for tuning in as well for that. But sorry for those YouTube ads. And he must so he's got the shirt. So
yeah.
Okay,
See,
here we go with
I know
some
that
more
guy.
fledging plants, right? We got folks that
I
are
know.
coming in from the organization
I
that are
know that guy. Yeah.
okay.
I think he's a Bama guy, if I remember correctly.
Shots, okay. Let's go down that
Yeah.
road then. You're gonna bring up
Ooh.
Bama. I
Hey,
told you
there it
we were gonna
is.
talk sports. I don't know if Mr.
There it
Riley
is.
is still in the building. Uh, Coach out there, Coach Saban. He's got
Mhm.
he's got a quarterback on the team. I'm not sure if you know who about the quarterback
Yeah,
for
he's pretty good. Old
he's all
Bryce
right.
Young.
He's
He's
all
pretty
right.
good.
Oh,
He can throw a ball.
he can do some things, right? And he can
Yeah,
pick up a
that's right.
heavy trophy because he's got that Heisman already. A lot of times, especially on my show Team No Sleep, right, where we talk the social impact of sport, we
Mhm.
were very early talking about NIL, name, image, and likeness, right?
Mhm. Yep.
Bryce
Yep.
Young right now, in sophomore, Heisman Trophy winner at Alabama, right? I mean, big name school, big name job, big name position,
Mhm.
big game all the way. He has already signed some very lucrative deals from an NIL perspective, right? He's signed some
Mhm.
deals with the local BMW dealer in his area. He's driving around in a vehicle right there that's paid for just for him
Mhm.
being him. He's probably going to the local Kroger, bagging groceries for an hour and getting $5,000 just for showing up. I don't know if you got. Do you guys got Kroger there? I know there's
Oh, we
Kroger in
do.
Atlanta.
Yeah.
Who do you have for the grocery store?
We got Publix mainly.
Okay, where's
We got
Piggly
Publix.
Wiggly at? Do they still have Piggly Wiggly?
We got some of the pig around
Shouts
here.
out
If
to the Piggly Wiggly, man.
that's where you get your beer and your steaks. It's
Yeah,
Piggly Wiggly.
that's look. Shouts out to the Piggly Wiggly. Look, I know about some of my East Coast. Bringing it back. So what do you squirrel, right? This is kind of how I go all the time with every show. You've probably seen me before, but
I love
bringing
it.
it back, how do you feel about that? Because again, I know you're deep in the trenches with Alabama. You watch the team, you support the team and your
Mhm.
organization, but thoughts on the relevance and the I guess the execution of how NIL is happening right now. Again, you got this young
Mhm.
man who probably came from meager starts and meager beginnings. Now he's riding around in this type of vehicle. He's getting paid for his likeness, which we always thought was a good thing and a right thing to do. But
Yeah.
talk to us a little bit about what you think in terms of how it's progressing since that floodgate has been open, since the transfer portal has actually happened, and
That's
what
right.
you're seeing from the school right there in your area.
Yeah. So I mean, I'm an Alabama fan. We're top of the pile, so I'm coming in with just mountains of bias.
Just coming in, just look at you,
It's there. I get it. I get it. I
gloating.
get it. I was there for 3 Saban championships. I
Yes,
get it.
sir.
But a couple things. I think players getting paid is good. They're benefiting from their likeness. They're taking the physical risk. They're doing the work. They should get paid. They should have been getting paid for decades. They're
Mm,
working. You work, you get paid. That's how it goes. I think the NCAA has just completely mismanaged it.
yeah.
They had the chance to stay ahead of it and regulate it and make it more equitable and create ways for the smaller schools and the weaker brands to stay competitive. And they just threw their hands up and said, "Nuh-uh." And so you're going to have kind of a runaway effect now. And guys like Bryce Young getting paid, I mean, cool. Heck yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I worry about the long-term health of the sport. But I
Mm.
think that, ultimately what'll have to happen is just some kind of balancing mechanism where maybe it's a semi-pro league, maybe it's a profit share or something, but some kind of balancing mechanism is going to have to come in. You hear stories about like Bryce Young, he's making sure his team is taken care of or whatever. I don't know all the rules and all that, but that's the kind of balancing mechanism I think you'll need to see. And I think maybe like I think it's Texas or Texas A&M. They set up a fund where every lineman gets paid $50,000 from Texas oil donors.
Okay.
That's
Didn't
one
know
of
about
those
that.
things. Yeah, it's a rumor, so check into it. Y'all don't hold me
Okay.
to that. I just
Right.
heard about it. But that's one of those things. Like if you're gonna do it, make sure the whole team's taken care of.
Yeah,
That kind of thing.
exactly. Exactly.
I do worry it's gonna box out the small schools though, because they just don't have. Bowling Green doesn't have $1 billion oil donor to
Yes.
pay
Yeah.
their offensive line.
Yeah. And that's an interesting point. I'm glad you mentioned as well about taking care of everyone on the squad. Yeah. Yeah. You want your stars are going to be taken care of because again, they're going to go out and do all of these events and these appearances and get their little coin for that. But what I've and my co-host on my other show have typically talked about is kind of that social impact piece, right? Again, you're coming
Mhm.
from nothing and now you have all of this change in your pocket. Now you're
That's right.
either a target out there because you've got folks around you who aren't receiving that. So
Yep.
there could be negative implications of that. Plus, do you really even know how to manage finances at that level? Right, you get $100 in your checking account right now, and you'll be like, "Man, that's good money." Right, let me
That's right.
go to I don't know the local all you can eat and take care of everybody on the squad.
That's right. That's right.
You get $100,000 in your pocket every single week at 19 years old, right? Just that whole mentality. That's where I come in and start to
That's right.
worry again about the youth and just I haven't seen them talk about putting people in place to take care of these youngsters, men
Well,
and
again,
women on both
the
sides.
the NCAA is just like they just. I mean, it's on them.
Yeah.
Whatever happens out of this, all the downside of it, it's on them because they had a bunch of chances. The thing I hope is going to happen is that it kind of starts to settle out because you have this issue too. Like Bryce Young had a good year.
Yeah.
I won't name him. There was another quarterback from another big school last year who was supposed to have a big year. He had a real bad year. What happened to his NIL contract? It probably went away.
Yeah.
I hope he did not go out and buy $100,000 Escalade and buy a house for his mama and all that
Yeah.
with money that went away. So I'm hoping that the market starts to kind of settle down. But from a player's perspective, they're getting paid. I'm happy for them. They're getting to transfer and go to school where they want. I'm happy for them. This is not on the players. This is not on the schools. This is on the regulating body to do a little bit better and step in and say, hey, let's keep this competitive, or just be honest and say, hey, it's professional sports now.
Right. There you go. Just come clean, right? Just figure out a way to come clean with us to make it right for everyone that's involved. I love that. Um,
That's right.
Go Vols, Tennessee. Okay, lead strategy.
James, 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 can you say that on a podcast? Is
I don't
that
know,
kind of
man.
profanity?
I may have to cut this part out.
Go
There's
back
gonna
and
be
put a big bleep on that.
there may be some editing that happens.
Woo.
Okay, I like that. Throw us off guard. Tennessee is a decent school. Was a decent school.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah. They got some supply chain. I hear they used to be good
Shouts
at
out to
basketball.
lead strategy there. We're just playing. Don't take it. We're just playing.
Yeah. I will tell you one thing, SEC wise, we're excited about. We're going through the licensing process right now to try and get licensed to put all the SEC sports logos on Spruce. So if you're a Vol fan, and that hurts me to say, but if you're a Vol fan or a Bama fan or an Auburn fan or whatever, imagine getting one of these sitting on your desk and it's got the script A on it, or it's got the AU on it, or the SEC on it.
Yeah.
That's something we're chasing down a lot and we're real excited about.
That's good stuff. Listen, and so let me bring this back because folks may be curious and wondering. I really wanted to have multiple conversations with you, and I wanted to be cognizant of your time as well. So yeah, we talked about the technology startup piece. We talked about you running a incredible business and having incredible products. Wanted to have that bit as well about you, the origin story, the who the man is, who Ethan Summers is, right? So I think we
Mhm.
got that out as well, in terms of how you run an organization and how you strategize throughout your calendar and fiscal year and things of that. And then again, consciously wanted to talk about some other things, just so folks can see that there's a full different dynamic of who Ethan Summers is, right? Kind of the measure of the man is not just the one who sits in the CEO chair barking commands all day and drinking bourbon.
Yeah, that's what happens. I'm in charge all day. Yep,
you
that's
know,
it. That's
you
it.
know, drinking bourbon and barking commands. But again, just getting into some other things and some other aspects, because I think folks miss that sometimes, of hearing how legitimate, how down to earth, and how just real that everyone is, regardless of whatever their position and
Right.
whatever is on their business card. So thank you for going on the ride with me as I took you down that road. Right, it was consciously for me. A lot of time folks don't know where in the world it's going, but they see at the end they have an aha moment. So, oh my God, you got to figure out who this guy is. You know who
Do I know that? That
you
name's
probably. Well, he
familiar.
says he said he's got one of your shirts.
Yeah, but man, we just throw those shirts out like we're at a football game sometimes,
I love it. I'll find out for you. I'll do some
All right,
sleuthing.
awesome.
In
Yeah,
closing,
let's track
brother.
that guy down.
Yeah, I tell you what. In closing, tell folks what you've got going on and what you would like us as consumers to stay focused on as it relates to Fledging.
Yeah, so for Fledging, I mean, it's by a Spruce Charger. You're not going to regret it, and we stand by what we make. It's high quality. It is everything you need. We're building it right. We're supporting it right. And why do you need a gaggle of crap on your desk, anyways? So go out, buy a Spruce Charger. You can find us on Amazon. We actually got a standing promo code right now. It's 15 Tech BHAM, so 15 TECH BHAM. It'll take 15% off for you. We need the feedback. Keep it coming. We get positive feedback, negative feedback all day long, and I promise you, we're running that feedback in and making it better just as fast as we can. So we're sold out on Spruce. It's where we're headed. It's going to be our capstone product. It's what we raise money for, and it's the best thing I've ever made. So go grab yourself one and let me know what you think.
I love it. I love it. Appreciate you, man. Yeah, look, I've given some of that constructive feedback and criticism on. I think it was the Hubble, because I had some initial issues in terms of connect, but and again, I got some responses back from the team, and they said, look, we worked on it, boom, and got it dialed in. But yeah, this Spruce is amazing, folks. And again, not just saying it because Ethan's right here. I'm saying it because, again, it's not on my desk. It's upstairs by my bed. That's how good it is. I use the thing every single day and every single night. So check that out. I will put a link to not just fledging.tech, but also to that promo code that you're offering as well. Shipping coming from Alabama, how long does it take to get to California?
If you're ordering from our website, Alabama to California, 2 business days.
Mhm.
If you're coming off Amazon Prime, half our dang inventory in California anyways, so it might be 2 hours. It's quick. But if it's coming from our headquarters, it's 2 days. And if anybody out there is interested in custom, they want their logo on it. It's 6 weeks like clockwork until you got a beautiful premium charger with your brand's logo on it. So it's out there too.
Sell it, brother. God, so. Dr. Summers, I appreciate you, man. You are you're doing it right, right? I
I
know
appreciate that.
I know it's been a little murky for a minute, right? But you're getting up, you're standing up, you're wiping your shoes off, and you're still going, and that's what matters. And again, you're doing it the right way. I think I've only met a handful of the extended team, but you got a great team. I think that's behind you, helping you build quality products for everyone. So until we meet again, brother, go ahead, say it, roll tide. Say what you want to say, but yeah, good luck with everything that you're doing, and I'll talk to you soon. All right, brother.
Man, I appreciate you.
Later, man.